Good afternoon. Okay. Hello, good afternoon. So, mga nahihiyang mag-unmute, sige lang. Ah, ano muna, focus muna tayo sa ating exam. So, another review session tayo ulit. Again, yung exam natin will be on Friday, 5:30 PM. So, yung rooms ay to follow na lang. So, abangan na lang natin. And given na nag-declare na naman ng ng remote classes ngayon, so kaya online tayo ngayon. So, sayang review session sana. Pero yun nga, review session na face-to-face para sana makita ko rin yung feedback nyo kasi very crucial ito kung naiintindihan ba talaga natin or hindi. What I have here are sets of problems. These are taken from previous exams and previous problem set. So, let's get started to it. So, again, yung coverage ng ating long exam involves special topics on flexure. So, anything that involves bending moment and even shear forces. Kung paano ba siya mag-manifest into bending stresses, paano ba siya mag-manifest into shear stresses. So, marami-raming problem ito. And let's get straight to it. So, for the very first problem, imagine that you have a semicircular cross-section with radius r. So, take note natin, radius r ito. So, hindi pa natin alam kung ano ba yung radius na ito. So, very expression heavy yung ating magiging exercise dito. And sinabi daw na it is subjected to a bending moment having a vector angle at an angle of 45 degrees with respect to the z-axis. So determine the maximum tensile and compressive stress of the beam. So kindly look at this. Check lang natin very precisely kung ano yung ating coordinate system dito. So speaking of coordinate system, you have yung y-axis right here and you also have yung z-axis right here. So if gagamitin natin yung right-hand rule, so yung y being our abscissa, yung z being our ordinate. So kapag kinross mo itong dalawang to, y cross z. So yung positive x na vector normal to the plane is going away from the page. So parang pointing towards you. Meaning, yung makakompute natin na anything na positive na value would indicate na tensile na bending stress siya. Kapag baliktad naman, say ito yung z, ito yung y, so magfi-flip yung ating perspective such that yung vector normal to the plane is into the page. So therefore, whatever bending stresses na makuha natin ay makukuha natin, magfi-flip dapat yung sign because baliktad yung notion ng positive, yung notion ng negative. Yung notion ng positive in that regard na given na kunwari ito si Z, ito si Y, ay going towards the page, yung positive na direction. Pero other than that, I believe mabilis lang naman natin tong ma-carry over and hindi naman very particular sa signs ng bending stresses natin. Pero anyhow, let's deal with the problem. So we have a semicircle right here. So magiging concern natin, how are we getting yung IY saka yung IZ, tas should we getting yung IYZ? So yun yung tatlong questions natin na meron ba tayong paano natin makukuha yung tatlong parameters na ito before we deal with unsymmetrical na bending stresses. But lucky for us, since z-axis is the axis of symmetry, automatic principal axis na agad siya. So we won't be using yung ating product of inertia and we'll simply be using yung principal moment of inertia along Z, principal moment of inertia along Y. So Again, these are the coordinates ng principal axis. So kapag capital letter Y, capital letter Z, kapag capital letter yung subscript, ibig sabihin these are along your principal plane. So depending on the orientation of the reference axis, we determine whether the fiber is in compression or in tension. So kailangan lang nating i-check. So again, yung notion dito is that yung going away from the page, so towards us, yun yung positive na bending stress. So how are we getting yung positive na bending stress? So say na meron kang moment along Y. So meron kang moment along Y. So meron kang moment along Y. How are we arriving at that moment along Y? Again, kung may moment ka along Y, that is a result of some radial arm along the z-axis. So radial arm along the z-axis. So ito yung mahirap kapag online, hindi ma-demonstrate si right hand rule. So yung right hand rule natin will kinda look like that. So kailangan natin mapakita na if going away from the page, na ganito, intention siya. If going towards the page, dapat in compression siya. So kailangan natin i-take note na if halimbawa ay going into the page, yung direction ng bending stress mo, so meron kang moment arm dyan, kindly check yung right hand rule natin. So if going towards the page, ito yung moment arm mo, that will result in, so assuming na negative yung bending stress, assuming na negative yung bending stress going towards the page, then yung moment arm mo, magiging resultant niya ay yung moment na pagganto. So ibig sabihin negative na bending moment. That would indicate otherwise na kapag going away from the page and you'll have this moment arm right here based on your right hand rule, so dapat i-lay down nyo yung palm nyo along this axis right here. Then dito, i-raise nyo yung fingers nyo on this plane right here along the positive z-axis. So anything that's going towards the positive z-axis, kapag tinaas yung kamay nyo, yun yung magiging moment arm na yon, then dapat yung thumb nyo ay nakaturo towards the positive y-axis. That would indicate na if meron kang positive na component along Y ng bending moment, tapos yung moment arm mo is along the positive Z, you'll have a positive na bending stress. Tapos, isa pa, other thing, so yung component naman along the Z na bending moment. So say, meron kang component along the Z na bending moment. Ganito. So kindly imagine na ito yung magiging radial arm mo along this line right here, but we focus on the positive na y-axis. So try natin sa positive y-axis right here. Ito yung moment arm nyo, lay down nyo yung tips ng fingers nyo dito. Then, itry nyo na i-curl up yung kamay nyo from that page. So yung right hand nyo. And what you'll realize is yung arrow is pointing towards the negative z-axis. So that would indicate na yung connotation mo ng negative is for the m sub z, given na positive yung y natin. So given na positive si z, given na si positive si y, this combination right here would result in a negative na bending stress. So that's how you check kung positive or negative yung bending stress natin. Kasi magmamatter siya kapag pinag-add mo ito dito. Pag pinag-add mo yung dalawa, dyan. So after determining yung ating equation, you can then decompose it into its component along the principal z-axis. So what you'll have is if sinabi na 45 degrees from the y-axis, which is your abscissa. So para makuha yung component along the y, kailangan natin yung cosine. Yep, yung component along the z or yung ordinate, kailangan natin yung sign na trigonometric function. So, kumpletuin lang natin, this is square root of 2 over 2m, square root of 2 over 2m. Both are positive, yung component. Ngayon, the challenging part about this is determining yung section properties natin about the centroidal axis. What we have is yung formula natin for the moment of inertia along the center. For a semicircle. So for a semicircle, meron tayong formula. And ito yung formula na ito. Yung pi r raised to 4 over 8. And since ito yung base na ano natin, na y-axis natin, so kailangan parang nag-i-introduce ka ng parallel axis, so sumukunin yung sa centroid. Ito. Pero ito yung given. Ito yung y na given. Ito yung IY na given, which is this one right here. Pero ito yung kailangan mo makuha. You need to perform parallel axis theorem. So again, parallel axis theorem natin, yung area ng ating semicircle. Take note ibabawas natin to kasi we're getting towards the centroid. Ibig sabihin na to, yung centroidal moment of inertia, supposedly siya yung may pinakamaliit na value kapag nag-parallel axis theorem ka. So, dito pinakamaliit, anything as you shift yung reference axis mo towards this or even towards this, palaki lang siya ng palaki. So, if you're getting from some reference axis that is not the centroidal axis and you want to get back to the centroidal axis natin, kailangan mo ng negative sign dito. So, meron kang area. Tapos ito yung D natin. Wait, familiar na tayo dito. Ito yung formula ng ating centroid. So meron ka 4r over 3 pi. I-squared mo lang siya and what you'll get is this term right here. So hindi pa natin mai-eliminate si theta dito. Si pi yung hindi natin matatanggal. Kasi meron kang pi squared over pi squared dito. Meron kang pi dito, magka-cancel out lang yung nasa numerator, pero yung sa denominator yung matitira. This will be 9 times 2, 18. This will be 16. So meron ka ito. So ito yung overall expression mo for your IY. Pero take note, both having r raised to 4 as its terms. On the other hand, if i-check naman natin yung I with respect to z-axis right here, so ang ginawa mo lang is in-add mo lang yung I ng quarter circle na pi r raised to 4 over 16. Then in-add mo lang dito yung pi r raised to 4 over 16. You'll have pi r raised to 4 over 8. So ibig sabihin, hindi naman tayo nag-parallel axis theorem dito because already nasa centroidal na z-axis na yung nasa centroidal axis na yung reference na z-axis natin. So meron kang pi r raised to 4 over 8. So again, parallel axis theorem yung kailangan mo for IY because nag-shift yung y-axis mo from here. Ito yung kinuhanan, ito yung may available na formula pero ito yung kailangan mong kuhanan. So kapag nakuha mo na yung IY, nakuha mo na yung IZ, masaya tayo. Kasi we can now determine kung nasaan yung point una, para malaman natin kung saan nagba-maximum yung tensile and compressive stresses. It's important to us to note kung nasaan si neutral axis. So yun yung next natin na SOP. Kung provided na yung ating bending moments, provided na yung ating product of inertia and moments of inertia, you can determine kung saan si neutral axis. Pero lucky for us nga, walang product of inertia. So we can satisfy ourselves with this formula right here. So meron kang tan of the angle of the neutral axis. Tapos meron kang MYIZ over MZIY. So ano ang meaning nito? So take note na this is Y over Z. Balikan lang natin. This is Y over Z. So whatever angle na madederive natin dito, it will always be with respect to from z-axis going towards the y-axis if in case na positive siya. Pero if negative siya, ibig sabihin it's going away from the y-axis, yung direction ng angle mo. So kindly check lang, makukuha natin, plug in lang natin. So meron kang value for my, which is this one right here, for mz, this one right here. So magka-cancel out lang yan. So wala tayong problema. Tapos yung hina-highlight ko rin na r raised to 4. R raised to 4 yung common factor ng lahat. So pwede mong i-factor out lahat yan. So yung matitira is pi over 8, tas pi over 8 minus 16 over 18 pi. And this will give us, kapag pinlagi natin sa calculator, 74.38. So again, yung base kasi sa pagkakasulat natin ng ng neutral axis, ng ating equation for the neutral axis, kindly take note na dito siya galing. So meron kang mz over iz is y, tapos meron kang my iy times z right here. So kapag ginumble mo yan, you get yung y over z. So yung my, imumultiply mo sa iz, tas yung mz, imumultiply mo sa iy. So kapag kinuha mo yung y over z, you'll be having this equation right here. So meron ka nito. So again, from z going towards y, if in case na positive yung angle natin. Pero nag-highlight din na bakit clockwise? Nagmukhang clockwise. Kasi since si z yung kinonsider natin abscissa dito. Si z yung kinonsider natin abscissa, which is yung denominator. Tapos yung y yung kinonsider natin ordinate, which is this one right here. So, ibig sabihin lang nun, z cross y, this will give us negative x. So, kahit na positive yung makuha mong value rito, that would indicate a clockwise na rotation. So, that's another way to go around this. So, para lang hindi talaga magkalituhan, if na-encounter nyo nga itong numerator at saka denominator na term, pa-positive na term from the denominator na axis towards the numerator na axis. Kapag negative, going away from the numerator axis from the denominator axis natin. So meron tayo ito. So 74.38. So again, from the positive z, so ito yung centroid natin. Ito yung centroidal axis natin. So from the positive z going towards the positive y. So we have this angle right here. So ito yung ating neutral axis. After determining yung neutral axis, it's time for us to visually appreciate siguro kung saan ba possible, saan ba yung mga pinakamalalayong fibers natin. So, saan yung pinakamalalayong fibers natin? So, all you need to do is to, kung maganda yung ating drawing, to draw perpendicular lines. Imagine perpendicular lines. Imagine now kung saan pinakamalalayo yung ating mga points. And this is a bit of geometry na part. So, kung may 74.38 ka dyan, tapos we're drawing perpendicular lines. So, meron kang 74.38 dito. Nag-draw ka ng ganyan. That will be perpendicular to this axis. Yun yung sure tayo. Yun yung sure tayo. So, kapag nag-draw ka ng 74.38 from the center ng ating quarter circle, perpendicularly siya mag-intersect dun sa neutral axis natin, and you'll arrive at the farthermost fiber. So, through some algebra. And on the other hand, ito for sure, ito yung farthermost na compressive fiber natin. All we need to do now is to get yung z at saka yung y coordinates. Since nakuha mo na 74.35 to, so this must be yung z component, kailangan mo kunin yung sign. ng angle na yun. Then, i-multiply mo with the r. Makukuha mo yung coordinate niya with respect to CT. Pero don't forget na ang kinuhanan mo ng ng coordinate is from the center, hindi sa centroid. So, kailangan mong ibawas itong 4r over 3 pi dito. So, pag binawas mo yung 4r over 3 pi dito, ito yung expression natin for ZT. For YT naman, since hindi naman siya nausog, yung centroidal axis at saka yung original na center, so kung ano yung makuha mo dun sa r cosine of 74.38, you'll be getting yung y coordinate niya. Pero take note, this is the positive y-axis, so dapat ay ito ay negative na y-axis. So negative na y na value siya. So meron kang negative r cosine of 74.38. Tapos for the compression, mabilis lang. So yung point C, so ito lang yung distance lang ng centroid from the center, yung magiging ating z na coordinate. So kaya minus 4r over 3 pi. Tapos r naman yung ating y coordinate kasi ito from here to there. So positive r naman siya. So hindi naman nagbago. So positive r pa rin naman. So yun yung y coordinate niya. Plugging everything in, so very expression heavy. So i-plug in mo lang as is. So mafa-factor out mo yung r dito, pati yung r raised to 4. So magka-cancel out lang to. Magiging r raised to 3. Ito mawawala to. Tapos yung m natin, ma-maintain lang siya. Ito ay merong some value ito. Merong some value ito. So parang ang i-factor out mo lang is yung m over r raised to 3, yung m over r raised to 3. And makukuha mo is 39.55 mr raised to 3. On the other hand, kapag tinry naman natin sa compressive fiber, again, plug in nyo lang as is, retaining yung signs. So, kalimutan yung signs natin. So, again, m over r raised to 3, yung ma-factor out natin na term. So, mawawala kasi to. And what you'll have is negative 4.535 mr raised to 3. So, okay na tayo doon. So, yun ay kung involved si centroidal moment of inertia. Pero pwede rin naman natin na balikan ito yung maging reference na axis natin. Sorry. Ano pa rin? Na ito yung ating reference axis. So kung ito try natin using the biaxial bending formula, itong formula na to, na mz, iy, tas my, iyz, tas times mo sa y, so over sa denominator na to, na very familiar na tayo. Tas again, my, kapartner niya si z. Tas kung si my na ito, tas si iz yung kapartner niya, so yung mz na kasama niya dun sa numerator, kasama niya si product of inertia. So similar for the stress formula. So mangyari lang, if we check, kung 0 si product of inertia, so wala na tong sa denominator na to. Wala na tong sa denominator na to, so meron ka na lang iy, iz dito. And kung 0 na yung isa, so wala na yung katandem na to. So ito na lang yung matitira. So yung iy mawawala, yung iz mawawala. So babalik lang tayo dun sa formula natin from earlier. So again, Chamberlain, y over z, you have this. And again, this 74.35 degrees is from z-axis going towards the y-axis. So kapareho lang din yung kalalabasan natin. Tapos pwede mo rin naman na gawin using more circle. So marami tayong options dito. So by if gusto natin makuha si neutral axis. So kapag ginawa mo in terms of components, medyo madugo nga lang. But you'll still arrive at the same point. So yung ginawa lang dito is ang ginawa mo ay kinonvert mo from your set of principal moments of inertia, ginawa mo siyang in terms of coordinates along your neutral axis. So ginuhanan mo lang ng ang kinuha mo in particular is yung tinatawag na I and A. Yung I and A. Yung I along the neutral axis. Then, kukunin mo lang yung components along the NA. So, meron tayo nito. So, M cosine of 74.38 minus 45 degrees. So, ito yung along the neutral axis na component. Ito yung along the neutral axis na component. So, ang gagawin mo lang is co-convert mo lang din na ano kaya yung distance from the neutral axis nung farthermost fiber na under compression. So, ito yung transformation equation natin. So, kinonvert lang natin yung mga coordinates natin from this into this in terms of this. So, ito, ginawan mo ng coordinate. Ito, ginawan mo ng coordinate transformation. So, meron kang ganito. So, ito yung alternate dun sa kanina natin na yung instead na nag-geometry ka, diniretsong transformation mo na. So, meron ka ng z sub z times, so ito yung z natin multiplied by sine plus y times cosine. Similarly, ganun lang din gagawin natin for the tension. So, plugging everything in. So, meron ka nito. Tapos, meron ka nito. I-plug in mo lang sa my over I and A. So, ito yung makukuha mo. My, ito yung M, ito yung Y over I and A. Ito yung M, ito yung Y, ito yung I and A natin. Plug in mo lang lahat. Supposedly, it will loop back to whatever you are getting from the original axis. Pero again, nakita nyo na ang daming variety ng method na you can simply use or pwede mong gawin na via the principal axis or pwede mong gawin sa original na axis natin or pwede mo rin gawin using yung coordinates along the neutral axis. So, i-convert mo lang everything in terms of the neutral axis and you'll still get the same set of answers. May questions ba dito? Questions? Question? Going once? Going twice? Yep. Yep. Ask mo. Yep. Ano yung tanong doon sa symmetry? Sa symmetry. Yung sa symmetry, as long as yung isa sa axis mo, halimbawa yung x-axis mo or yung y-axis mo is an axis of symmetry, automatic, yung product of inertia ay equal to 0. So what the set of axes that you're referring to now is point of intersection po is 0. Point of intersection ay 0. So ito initially. So ito yung initial na set ng axis mo. Pero halimbawa inusog mo, so bumalik ka dun sa centroidal axis kasi doon naman talaga nag-a-apply yung bending moment mo. So ito yung SOP natin. So ito yung location and dapat dito nag-intersect yung moment vector mo, yung neutral axis vector mo. Dapat doon din nag-intersect. On the same point, sa centroid pa. Product of inertia. Okay. Product of inertia ay 0. Yes. Sorry. zero yung product of inertia kapag na-determine mo na axis of symmetry. Or, another thing, if not very apparent yung ating axis of symmetry, kasi dito very apparent kaya ang bilis hanapan. Kailangan mong kunin yung principal plane, and only if you determine yung principal plane, will you find that particular plane, kahit na hindi siya mukhang axis of symmetry, kung saan nagzi-zero yung iyong product of inertia. Okay, so I hope makakapa natin to just right before the exam. Kasi nung chinek ko, madali lang naman yung part, parang medyo kaya naman to, mamamanage nyo yung lalabas sa exam. As long as kabisado nyo yung bawat step, even yung pagkuha ng product of inertia. So, para ma-practice pa tayo sa product of inertia. Wala nang tanong? Okay? Ay, okay. Thank you, Ashley. So, meron tayong beam. Yung beam natin, obviously, very unsymmetrical siya. So, walang axis of symmetry. So, mahirapan tayo sa pagkuha ng bago tayo makakuha ng bending stresses, kailangan natin makuha si mag-admit lang tayo. Kailangan natin makuha si moment of inertia at saka si product of inertia. So, sabi daw, kung meron kang moment, just given yung magnitude na 20 kilonewton meters, pinapakuha sa atin yung flexural stress at point A. So, medyo mahaba-haba na journey to. At least, pero makikita natin yung sequence on how we are dealing with the solution. So, to recall, ito yung formula na gagamitin natin in the end. Provided yung ating bending moment broken down into its orthogonal, so along the y and along the z, then kailangan din natin si IY, si IYZ, at saka si IZ para makumpleto natin to along with the coordinates. And alternatively, natutunan natin just right now, kung principal axis, pwedeng ito, or kung neutral axis, pwedeng diretso na doon. Look lang. So if we're going to do it via formula, kailangan natin ma-determine yung cross-section properties, kailangan natin makuha yung moment components, makuha yung coordinates. Lahat yon para dito. Plug and play, makukuha natin siya. So kailangan nating makuha yung section properties. Imagine that you then broke down yung ating cross-section into these three shapes. You have a red na rectangular shape na 20 by 80 millimeter. So again, kaya 80, 60, at saka 20. So 20 by 80. Tapos meron ka pang 120. So ito na yung hinighlight ng dimension line by 20 millimeter. Tapos meron kang 20, yung kapal, tapos meron kang 60 plus 20 plus 60, 140 millimeter. So ito yung tatlo mong area. And maganda, para hindi tayo magkaligawan, ay kailangan natin gawin itong table na to. And kadalasan, hindi na tayo pinapahirapan na pinapahanap pa kung nasan yung centroid natin. So yung centroid provided na, scroll ko lang pataas para lang maano natin. Provided na yung location ng centroid na 92.4 millimeters from the extreme top, yung top na fiber natin. And yung location naman niya along, yung centroid naman niya along the z-axis ay located 17.06 millimeters from this fiber right here. So alam na natin, na-set up na natin yung coordinates. Alam mo na rin yung location ng centroid. We can then determine ano yung kailangan mong i-translate from each of the respective shape in order to get to the centroid. So meron kang DZ na if ito yung reference axis natin, so kalahati ng 80, 40. Yung 40 na to, ima-minus natin sa 17.06. So meron tayo nito. Tapos yung DY naman natin, ito ay located, so meron kang 92.4 dito. So ibabawas mo lang, so since ito yung reference, so ibabawas mo lang yung kalahati nito kasi ito yung location ng centroid niya along the y-axis. So meron kang 92.4 minus 10. Ganun din ang gagawin mo sa blue. So yung blue naman, yung location ng centroid niya along the x is 10. And yung sa centroid is 17.06. So take note, yung location ng centroid minus yung na-identify mo. Location ng centroid ng shape, tas minus yung centroid ng buong cross-section. So ganun palagi. Centroid, yun yung palagi mong ima-minus. Ganun din dito. So meron kang 92.4. Bawas natin yung 20. Tapos yung kalahati nito, itong 92.4. This is 60. Tapos, dadagdag mo yung 20. So meron ka nito. Ima-minus mo si 92.4. Makukuha mo yung location ng centroid niya. Na si 0.3, ganun din yung magiging treatment mo along the x. Meron ka nito. Along the y, meron ka nito. So, himayin lang natin ng n. So, kailangan mo makuha yung bawat coordinate ng centroid ng bawat shape with respect to if you were to consider na yung centroid ng buong cross-section mo yung origin. Only then, makukuha natin yung product of inertia knowing na since lahat to ay rectangle, yung centroidal product of inertia niya ay equal to 0. So all you need to do is to conduct parallel axis theorem on each step. So meron kang IZY is equals to A times D sub Z times D sub Y. So this is for this. So ito, papasok siya dito. Ito, papasok siya dito. So ito, papasok siya dito. And you'll be getting 2,95,878 millimeter raised to 4. Tapos, on the same manner din, kukunin mo rin si IZ. Wait lang ha. Ayun, kumatok lang yung gumagawa ng washing machine. So, same treatment. IZ, kunin mo yung centroidal moment of inertia ng bawat isang shape, ng red, ng blue, ng green. Tapos, mag-parallel axis theorem ka on each of them. So, parang pwede kang gumawa ng table dito para lang hindi mo makalimutan. So, again, for IZ, so yung Z natin, yung horizontal, so meron kang 20 dito for the red na i-raise to 3 natin. Tapos yung 80 yung walang raise to 3. For IY for the blue, yung 120 yung i-raise to 3 natin, yung 20 yung hindi. Dito naman, yung 20 yung i-raise to 3 natin, yung 140 yung hindi. For IY, it's the opposite. Dito, yung 80 yung naka-raise to 3, yung 20 yung hindi. Dito, yung 20 yung naka-raise to 3, yung 120 yung hindi. Dito, yung 140 yung naka-raise to 3, yung 20 ay hindi. So, we know yung formula. So, dapat, very mechanical na ito for us. And I hope na mapag-practicean natin ito because we have five problems and for 2.5 hours lang yung ating exam. So, gawin lang natin. So, ito na yung centroidal, moment of inertia along the Z ng bawat isa. Kasi ito yung parallel axis theorem ng bawat isa. So, natabulate naman natin. We can easily refer to this. And we'll get IZ to be equal to 23,549,034 millimeter raised to 4. Ganun din yung gagawin natin for IY. Tapos meron ka makukuha. And kompleto na natin yung kailangan natin for our unsymmetrical bending na formula. After makuha yung mga moments of inertia natin, ay kailangan na nating i-break down into the Z and the Y. Lahanin natin yung 20 kilonewton meters na yon is towards the positive Z. So if we're going to consider some consistency ng units, itong 20 kilonewton meters na to, since yung ating moment of inertia ay naka-millimeters, so might as well convert it to millimeter na rin down the line. So pwede mong sabihin na 20,000 kilonewton millimeter. Tapos yung coordinates ng point A, take note lang natin na ito si point A. So meron siyang coordinate na si point A ay pwede natin sabihin na 92.4 minus 20. Yun yung Y coordinate niya. Yung Z coordinate naman niya, if this is 80 minus 17.06. So balikan lang natin. So 80 minus 17.06 is meron kang 92.4 times 20. So meron kang set ng Z at saka Y na formula. So again, yung MZ na naman, yung may negative dito, tapos katandem niya si Y. Yung MY, yung wala. So alam natin i-set up to using yung right hand rule. So meron kang MY and that. You simply plug in everything that you have computed so far, lahat-lahat. So kagandahan ay walang Y. So hindi ka mahirapan dito. So wala na ito. Tapos wala na rin ito. Ito na lang yung itong dalawa na lang yung poproblemahin natin. Pati yung denominator. You plug everything in, you'll get point. So take note makukuha mo numerical value dito is kilonewton over millimeter squared or gigapascal. So kung meron ka kung gusto mong i-convert to megapascal, so make the necessary conversions. Or in the first place, pwede mo nang gawin to na 20 million para diretsong megapascal na yung ating sagot. Question. Sir, bakit 12.4 yung dy? Di ba nasa 12.4 yung rectangle 2? Bakit 12.4 yung dy? Asan ba? $12.4. 92.4. Tas minus 10. Ito yung una. Nasaan ito? Itong 12.4. Ito ay for section 2. Section 2. Tumitil. So 12.4. Ito ay IZ. So along the Y yung translation. So yung 12.4 na to ay nanggaling dun sa 80 minus 92.4. This one right here is 80. Yung hanggang sa gitna nito. So ito 60 plus 20 is 80. Ito yung location ng centroid ni area 2. Pero ito yung centroid mo, so kailangan mong And alam mo na 92.4 to, so yung distansyang ito ay 12.4. I hope na clear up yon. Bakit po negative? Solving for IZY po. Bakit negative? Kindly take note, ito yung set of axes natin. Ito yung set of axes natin. Ito yung positive Y, ito yung positive Z natin. That would only indicate na nandito, saka nandito, yung karamihan sa ating mga area. So take note, ito yung Y, ito yung Z. So itong first quadrant na to has positive na product of inertia. Itong quadrant na to kasi positive product of inertia. Itong quadrant na to negative na product of inertia. Itong quadrant na to negative na product of inertia. So by visual inspection, ito yung mas may maraming area, itong dalawang quadrant na to. And as a result of that, yung magiging expectation natin ay magiging negative yung ating product of inertia if we were to compute this. I hope nasagot yung tanong doon. Sure, yung sa part ng product of inertia po ng centroidal IGY is equal to 0. Prime po ba siya or not? Hindi siya prime. Doon siya sa wait lang. Hindi siya prime. Unprime siya. Sabihin lang doon, hindi siya principal axis itong Y at saka Z axis natin. Therefore, nag-appear yung product of inertia. It's a non-zero na value. Only if tinransform natin siya towards the principal axis, so hinanap natin yung principal axis, only then we are setting yung set of prime axis natin, and with IZY prime, ito ay magiging equal to 0. So, kindly take note lang then, these are not prime but rather yung centroidal axis. So parang nag-identify tayo ng centroidal axis dito. This is Y bar, this is Z bar. So unprime siya. Kinuha na natin ng product of inertia from that set of axis. May tanong pa? Yes, kung puro rectangular yung natin. Yes, yung prime kasi, ito yung sa local ng bawat shape. And nataon na yung mga shape na ito ay symmetrical on their own set of axes, local axis. So, 0 yung product of inertia nito, 0 yung product of inertia nito, 0 yung centroidal product of inertia nito, 0 yung centroidal product of inertia nito, 0 yung centroidal product of inertia nito. And what would remain is yung parallel axis theorem niya kasi inuusog mo from their respective na local axis towards dun sa local axis ng buong section natin, which is yung sa centroid. Questions? Yes. Ano naman, hindi naman tayo, take note, mini problem ng exam, hindi kayo pahirapan ng very complicated shapes kapag sa product of inertia. So, at the very most, ganito yung ipapagawa sa inyo. So, provided na yung ating product of inertia, provided na yung coordinates, provided na yung components ng ating moment, you can do yung stress formula natin, yung mahabang formula, in order for you to get yung negative 45.83. Kung gagawin naman natin, in terms of the principal axis, kailangan mo muna i-check. Nasa axis of symmetry ka ba? If yes, wala nang problema. Kasi naka-align na yung isa dun sa principal axis natin. Already, yung makukuha dapat natin na section properties ay naka-principal moments of inertia na ito. Pero, just like what we've determined earlier, hindi siya yung principal axis natin because nag-appear yung ating product of inertia. It's a non-zero na value. And para magawa ngayon to, kailangan natin ng transformation equation. You can use yung mahabang transformation equations from module 1, or you can do Morse circle. So gagawin mo lang siya ng Morse circle and conduct the transformation in the similar manner. Whatever step naman na makukuha natin, ay makukuha natin yung section properties about the principal axis natin. Pero since nagbago rin yung ating reference plane towards sa principal axis, yung ating moment vector, kailangan din natin siyang ibaliin into its orthogonal about the principal axis. Kahit yung mga coordinates din natin, kailangan din natin na i-translate or i-rotate, mag-perform ng rotational transformation para yung coordinates na nakukuha ay in terms of the principal axis. So again, yung signs natin ay madedetermine natin from that right-hand rule na pinapakita ko na dinedemonstrate sa inyo kanina. And after that, you can do the rest of the solution. So, again, nakuha na natin to. Pwede mong gawin at this point is kunin yung principal axis natin. So, meron kang IZ, meron kang IY. So, take note, ito yung IZ at saka IY natin. Ganito natin gagawin yung ating Morse circle. So, meron kang IZ, kinonsider mo na siya yung abscissa. Yung Z, yung abscissa natin, yung Y, yung ating ordinate. Therefore, yung magiging manner ng natin will be like this. Na meron kang IZ, tapos meron kang IYZ, and meron kang gantong line. And you'll be able to draw the Morse circle right here. Ito yung target natin gawan ng plane. So, in order for us to get to the to transform this z-axis to the principal na axis, so principal na z-axis, kailangan mo siyang i-rotate by 2 theta p. And yung 2 theta p na to, knowing yung ating formula na this is, ito ay IZ minus IY over 2. So ito yung average ng dalawa. Or you can say na parang ganito siya. Tapos ito yung IYZ natin. So makukuha natin tong angle na to. Ito yung opposite. Ito yung adjacent. So ayusin lang natin yung formula natin. We'll be getting yung formula for theta p, which is equal to 6.95. So meron kang 6.95 degree. Then, with that regard, pwede mo rin kunin yung radius na to. So C, ito yung center ng ating Morse circle, which is yung average yung dalawa nating moment of inertia. Ipa-plus lang natin yung R na nakuha natin. And we'll be able to get yung IZ prime na nataon na yun yung principal na Z-axis natin. Ito yung Z-axis na yun, yung magbibigay ng maximum na product na moment of inertia, na zero yung product of inertia. So yung C plus R natin will be equal to this. Yung C minus R natin, yung IY, will be equal to this. So para makuha natin yung Z-axis, yung maximum na axis natin, magbibigay ng maximum moment of inertia. So dire-denote as U at saka V-axis. So yung U magbibigay ng maximum, yung V magbibigay ng minimum. So kung nakuha mo itong 6.95, kailangan mo raw siyang i-rotate by 6.95 clockwise. So clockwise para makuha yung ating principal moments. So itong Z, pag na-rotate mo by negative 6.95, makukuha mo ito. Yung V, pag na-rotate mo ng 6.95, makukuha mo ito. So yun yung nangyari. So na-rotate mo by 6.95 and you'll be having this set of axes on which itong bending moment na ito, kailangan mo i-break down into its U and V na components. So into its U and V na components, so you simply do this, and you'll get MU at saka yung MV. Yung coordinates, medyo tricky pa ng konti. Kailangan natin gawan ng coordinate transformation. So, wag nating kalimutan yung ating coordinate transformation. So, yung coordinate transformation ay sulat ko na lang para hindi nyo makalimutan. So, meron tayong u is equals to z cosine theta p plus y sine theta p. Yung v natin is y cosine theta p minus z sine theta p, which yung nag-reflect dito. So meron na to, and what you'll get is this 53.72 at saka 73.48 as your coordinates. You simply plug everything in to your stress na formula. So again, isipin mo ulit, right-hand rule. So yung right-hand rule natin, kapag going towards the page, yung direction, compression. Or kapag nag-close na yung kamay mo, para magawa yung moment arm na yun, so dapat compression siya, yung kalalabasan. So, para ma-verify, so yan ay magbibigay ng kung along the negative na v-axis yung moment arm natin, then so along the v na negative v yung moment arm natin, then away from the page, dapat magka-clasp yung hand natin with the thumb pointing towards the positive u-axis. Tapos ganun din dito sa V. So kung i-check mo din naman ay kung going towards the V, yung direction, assume mo muna na positive yung pending moment na kinokos niya. So moment along V, so dito siya, ito yung direction niya. So pag nilay down mo yung thumb mo na nakaturo towards the positive V, then nilay down mo yung palm mo and your fingers along this axis right here towards the positive U. Pag kinalas mo yung finger mo, so going away from the page, therefore positive yung relationship ni bending stress doon at saka ni moment along the V. Nataon lang na for this regard ay baliktad. Kasi yung component along the V mo ay pointing towards down. You plug everything in and you'll still arrive at 45.83 megapascal. Ask ko lang po, i-upload ba yung examples na diniscuss today? Yes, i-upload ko naman to. Okay. Tapos again, solution by neutral axis. So for the interest of time, pasadahan na natin to kasi meron pang 5 topics na kailangan i-cover. So, convert mo, hanapin mo lang, nasa yung neutral axis, you transform yung reference axis towards the neutral axis. You simply get yung moment na component along the neutral axis, pati yung distance, perpendicular distance, and you can simply use yung my over INA. So again, ganito yung magiging conversion. Kapag nakuha na natin yung location ng neutral axis, so sabihin lang nun, lakas ng ulan na. So stay safe tayo, malakas yung ulan sa labas. So may nakuha tayo from our formula na 17.598. So ito yung magiging rotational transformation. Tapos magre-reflect siya sa Mohr circle since counterclockwise. So from this axis right here, kailangan mo pa ng counterclockwise ng twice that angle para makuha natin yung radial arm na magbibigay sa atin ng set ng IY, IZ, saka IYZ. Pero in this manner right here, since nakuha ko na 35.196 tas 33.898, ipag-add ko yung dalawa, i-multiply ko sa cosine of, kunin ko yung cosine nun, tas i-multiply ko sa R, tas i-plus ko sa C, I'll be getting this. So, pwedeng ganito. So, R cosine theta of 47. So, kailangan ko lang kunin yung R. And makukuha ko na yung INA ko is 20,792,471 millimeter raised to 4. Tapos gawin ko lang din yung coordinate transformation for this. So kailangan ko lang makuha ito. So pag kinuha ko siya, you will simply be using this formula right here na alam na natin yung location, yung angle, ano natin, 17.598, negative 17.598, and we'll get 49.98 millimeter. Again, let me explain as to why negative. Why negative? Okay naman pala. So, meron tayong 49.98. So pag ginawa mo using Mohr circle, then kapag pinlagin mo yung my over INA, so yung m na along the neutral axis, yung perpendicular distance, tapos yung INA natin, you'll still be able to get yung answer natin. Sige, mamaya na yan. Non-homogeneous section. So this is a book problem. If meron kang Kevlar at saka aluminum. So if the allowable bending stress of the aluminum is 280 megapascal and that of Kevlar is 56 megapascal, given that the modulus of elasticity of aluminum is 73 and that of Kevlar is 130.85, determine yung maximum moment that is allowed or that this cross-section can carry. So, pwede mong gawin ulit, pag-isipan, ano ba? All aluminum ba or all Kevlar ba? So, kalma, sinet mo yung I mo into saying na all aluminum. So, every step that will follow, dapat lahat ay aluminum. So, provided na ito yung coordinates, yung Kevlar, yung aluminum mo is yung nandito. Ito yung aluminum. Ito yung Kevlar natin. Ito yung bending moment mo. So, yung direction ng moment arm niya ay yung moment vector mo ay paganto, yung direction. So, paganto yung direction. And in that regard, considering na symmetrical yung ating cross-section, so, yung aspect na babaguhin mo lang or yung itatransform mo lang will be parallel to this axis right here. Ano yung parallel to this axis? Itong kapal na ito, itong kapal na ito, itong haba na ito. So, with the transformation factor being equal to 1.79, so yung 0.5 cm mo, i-multiply natin by n. Yung 0.5 cm mo, i-multiply mo by n. Tapos yung 13 cm mo, i-multiply mo by n. Yan yung kalalabasan na cross-section. Kung Kevlar naman, yung aluminum yung magbabago. So pwedeng ganyan yung itsura ng ating transform na cross-section. So yung Kevlar natin, hindi nagbago, pero yung aluminum natin has shrunk by a factor of n na kung sakaling si aluminum yung nasa numerator, si Kevlar yung nasa denominator. So ito yung kalalabasan. But either way naman, pareho dapat yung kalalabasan. Ito. So, we are presented with a transform cross-section na all aluminum. Hanapin si centroid. Yun palagi, hanapin mo si centroid. Pag nahanap mo si centroid, only then will you will be able to compute for the neutral axis moment of inertia. So, meron kang y na equal to 2.525, knowing yung bawat area. You use itong bottommost as your reference. So, meron kang for the red na kalahati ng 0.5, kaya 0.25 to. Tapos, for these ones right here, so meron kang kalahati ng 5.5, 2.75. Dadagdag mo sa 0.5, so meron ka ito. Just times 2 na lang natin yung blue. So, times 2. So, twice nung sa blue. So, meron ka nito kasi na area, ito na area. Tapos yung in yellow, yung ano natin, yung aluminum natin, will be 12 times 0.5 lang. Kasi yung location ng centroid is kung 6 ito, ima-minus mo lang yung kalahati ng thickness. So meron kang 0.25 na ima-minus. So plug everything in, you have 2.525 centimeter as your location of the centroid na gagamitin mo for your parallel axis theorem and your centroidal moment of inertia para makuha yung I along the neutral axis. And kapag ginawa na natin yan, kailangan lang natin i-check, be mindful lang na if originally aluminum siya or originally Kevlar siya. Ginawa natin na all aluminum. Ibig sabihin, whatever stress that we are evaluating along this shape right here, wala dapat na transformation factor sa bending moment formula. But for the Kevlar, since kinonvert mo siya to aluminum, kailangan mo siyang applyan ng transformation factor kapag pinlagin. So nilocate lang natin yung farthermost fiber for the Kevlar 3.475. Yung farthermost fiber, so here, mas malayo siya kaysa rito. So ito yung gagamitin natin. Tapos, ang katangi-tanging missing dito, given kasi na 56 MPa. So given na 56 ito, known ito, known ito, known ito, missing yung M. So hahanapin natin kung anong value yung M niya. So for this to satisfy yung conditions na ito, kailangan yung maximum bending moment mo should be at least 1 point, at most 1.38 kilonewton meters. For the aluminum, if we were to check kung mag-yield ba si aluminum, you apply the same na formula, pero since all aluminum na siya, no need for the transformation factor, and you'll be able to get 12.34 kilonewton meters. And since ang tinatanong is yung maximum allowable, so ito, para ma-reach to, na-violate mo na yung allowable for the Kevlar. So therefore, yung Kevlar yung mag-govern, yung mas critical. So, ang i-report mo is 1.38. Questions? Wala pa? Oh, third question, hypothetically. If hindi po siya hollow sa loob, and yung loob po is full aluminum and yung surrounding material naman is Kevlar, how po yung transformation, yung transform na section? Sige. Interesting question. So, carry over ko lang. If sabi based from Ashley's question, if for example ito yung Kevlar natin, then sabi punong-puno daw ng aluminum tong nasa loob, kung i-convert mo to all aluminum yan, yung aluminum ma-maintain na ganyan. Pero yung Kevlar mo ay mag-expand by some fraction. Ganun pa din siya. So may feeling pa din sa gitna. Yung interesting is kung i-all Kevlar natin. Kung i-all Kevlar natin, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. Tapos, you apply the same procedure, hanapin mo kung nasaan si neutral axis or si centroidal axis. So, kung nasaan siya, hanapin mo lang kung, dito, hanapin mo lang kung nasaan siya or dito rin naman kung nasaan siya. Pareho lang dapat yung makukuha mo. Either way. So, walang magbabago sa makukuha mo na centroid either if all aluminum or if all Kevlar. Pareho pa lang kalalabasan. Pero yung makukuha mo na INA dito, sa all aluminum, iba dun sa INA na makukuha mo kung all Kevlar siya. But, related sila, all aluminum, as INA ng all Kevlar, these two right here is simply equal to here, N. Yung ratio niya ay equal to N. Yan, kung fully enclosed yung aluminum, yun yung hypothetical sa scenario. Okay, questions pa? So paano pagbaliktad material, sir, tapos may overlap sa area, tapos mako-convert yung material? Ko-consider pa rin ba yung overlapping area? Yes, i-consider pa rin. So, yung na-bring up naman ni Clyde ay ganito. No, what if daw na instead na si Kevlar yung naka-envelop kay aluminum, si aluminum yung naka-envelop kay Kevlar. Let us take some time to draw this. So your cross-section will kinda look like this. So ito yung Kevlar, ito yung aluminum. Kagandahan dito, ay pwede mo nang i-anticipate in advance. Pwede na, okay, this is a composite shape. I can decompose this to this shape right here. So i-highlight, I'll put different highlight. So merong shape ako dito. Meron akong shape dito. Tapos meron akong shape dito. So ito, gawin ko ng pula para, magpula. Green para may iba naman. So we have 4 distinct shapes. Lagay ko lang na this one right here has some length. So lagyan ko lang B Kevlar. It's right here. Yung magiging itsura ng transform shape niyan, if gagawin mo na all aluminum siya, ang si Kevlar mag-expand. Kahit na mausog yung dalawang mong shape, wala namang problema. Mag-expand si Kevlar ng ganyan, tapos si aluminum nakaganto, si aluminum nakaganto, then yung original na aluminum mo, ganito pa din. So ganun lang yung nangyari sa cross-section. Ito yung tinransform mo. Transform to aluminum. So kahit ganito yung shape mo. So ito ngayon ay magiging N times B Kevlar. Pero ito, hindi nagbago yung thickness, just like in the original. Hindi rin nagbago yung thickness nito, just like in the original. Kahit na nausog siya, okay lang. As long as, take note, na dito pa din yung bending moment mo. So kung meron kang moment vector, dapat yung manner ng transformation mo will be perpendicular to that moment vector. Always. So ganoon kapag baliktad yung material. I hope nasagot yun, Clyde. Questions pa? Okay, let's proceed. Try natin, isa pa. So isang mabilisan lang before we proceed with another topic. So meron kang wood beam with on a aluminum channel shown in the figure. Tapos provided yung dimensions, provided yung allowable stresses, provided yung ratio ng modular plasticity, 1:6. So provided na N is equals to 6 na, so i-convert natin na itong composite na cross-section na to all wood. So yung mangyayari lang dun sa wood na in gray ay magta-transform siya by some factor of N, which is equal to 6. So provided na yung thickness is 6 millimeters, so uniform thickness natin ay 6 millimeters, So this is 60 millimeters. Yung magiging transformation niya is 6 times n. So ito ay magiging 36. Ito ay magiging 36. Kasi ito, so meron kang ito, 150, ito ay 150. So dagdag mo yung dalawang thickness na 6 and 6. So meron kang 162 na kailangan mong i-transform. So etong nasa baba ay magta-transform. Magiging 972 siya. So kapag nakuha mo na yung transform section mo, you can then search for the location of the centroid. Then you can compute for the moment of inertia at the neutral axis, which is coincidentally your centroidal axis. Then hanapin lang natin saan yung maximum nung sa wood, saan yung maximum nung sa aluminum natin. Ay sorry, yung wood is yung in white, yung aluminum is yung gray, naka-gray natin. Kaya yung aluminum yung nag-transform to all wood. Let me clarify. Yun. So hanapin lang natin. So if ito yung wood natin, tas dito banda yung neutral axis natin, so ito yung farthermost fiber ni wood. Ito yung farthermost fiber ni aluminum. So nakuha mo na yung information na yon for the aluminum, plug in lang natin, okay, nag-evaluate tayo from the topmost fiber, from the bottommost fiber. Ay, aluminum pala. Yep, aluminum yung kinuhanan. So, kung 108 to, so 108 from here, so 108 yung distance niya from the neutral axis. So, 108 yung gagamitin natin dito. But don't forget, since aluminum ito, na kinonvert mo to all wood, kailangan mo yung value ng N. Solve for M, provided yung sigma AL, you'll get yung value na hinahanap natin na 18.2 kilonewton meters. Tapos, dun sa wood naman, since all wood na siya, no need for the transformation factor sa formula. So what we'll get is known na 8 megapascals, yung allowable na bending stress. So what we'll get is 16.17 kilonewtons. Again, take whatever was the lesser of the two M na na-compute natin. So meron tayong 16.17 kilonewton meters. Ito medyo challenging. May nagtanong lang kung sa Monday na daw ba talaga yung 151. Okay. Meron tayong beam made of elastoplastic material. So pag sinabing elastoplastic material, kapag nag-exceed ng bending stress, we assume a perfectly plastic behavior. So mag-a-apply yung notion natin ng shape factor dito. So provided na meron kang B1 at B2 na B2 yung mo, pinakamalawak mo, B1 yung pinakamaliit mo. So ito yung itsura ng ating hexagon. So pinapahanap sa atin ano yung shape factor nito. So pwede mo simulan with the estimation of the yield moment. Then kagandahan nito, since symmetrical siya, doubly symmetrical pa, you can assume na nandito sa gitna yung ating neutral axis. So wala na tayong problema with that. So you can simply get yung bending moment to be equal to y sigma t. So, pag pinapakuha yung yield moment mo. So kunin mo lang to, pwede mong sabihin na sigma mo is a function of y. So kailangan mo i-establish to. Ito yung makukuha mo ngayon. So again, ito yung makukuha mo na formula. Kailangan mo ng double integration because nagva-vary siya along y. This is yung y-axis. Nagva-vary din yung width mo dito along the z. So kailangan nating i-establish ito. So double, instead na dA, so dz dy yung ginamit. So kailangan nating ma-identify my times 2 kasi kinuhanan lang natin yung taas. Yung taas lang yung kinuhanan natin. Kahit ito lang kasi symmetrical naman siya. Kahit ito lang yung kunin natin yung nasa taas. So meron tayong function ng sigma in terms of y. So i-jumble lang natin to. So sigma is equals to sigma y times y over h over 2. And we'll be able to get yung value ng ating sigma. And yun yung isa-substitute natin into our equation. Pero don't forget, kailangan natin makuha ito. The manner on how the width decreases as you increase yung value ni y. So medyo kailangan natin ng konting algebra dito. So meron ka ng y is equals to this. So kailangan natin ng slope. So rise over run. And since na-express mo na as a linear function siya, yung z upper natin, tas yung z lower natin. So ito, yung z dito, tas yung z dito. So meron ka nito, meron ka nito. And yun yung gagamitin natin for this integration. So meron kang my is equals to that. And hindi lang ako sure kung kayang i-plug into sa calculator, but kailangan talaga matest yung algebra skills nyo. If a factor out mo yung sigma y over h, kasi ito yung constant na term, so pwede naman siyang lumabas dyan. Pwede siyang lumabas dyan. So what we'll get is my is equals to this value right here. So sundan na lang natin na we use yung m is equals to y sigma dA. Y is if m along z. So yung y is yung perpendicular to z na component. So kaya ito yung ginamit natin. Tapos for MP, meron kang assumption na lahat ay in-yielding na. So hahanapin mo lang yung cutoff area kung saan equal yung area sa taas dun sa area sa baba. Area under compression sa area under tension. So yung horizontal na cutoff line natin. And since doubly symmetrical to, itong nasa gitna. Yung natin, tinatawag na plastic neutral axis na mag-divide into two equal na segments. Dalawang equal na segments. All we need to do is to determine kung ano yung first moment of area na itong nasa taas at saka nung nasa baba. Then, i-multiply mo sa sigma y para makuha si m sub p. And kapag ginawa mo yan, we'll have this value right here. Meron ka nito na in terms of B2, B1, H at saka sigma y. Ito rin, in terms of sigma y, H, B1, and B2, if kinuha natin yung shape factor, mawawala si sigma y dito. And what we are left with is a purely not dimensional na value for our shape factor. Na in terms lang pala siya ng B2 at saka ng B1. So yun lang pala yung ating magiging shape factor. So you can follow this through. You can test yourself with a known value. Kasi ito mahirap pa. May B1 tapos may B2. Pwede ka mag-assign ng value for B1 na equal to 150 halimbawa, tapos B2 is 280. And you can verify kapag pinalagin mo siya rito na dapat ang makukuha mo pa rin K ay kapareho ng K nito. Okay? Mukhang okay pa naman. Sige. Let us try another problem. So, meron kang open thin wall cross-section that is subjected to a shear force. What was being asked is nasaan si shear center. So, shear center, again, is some eccentricity A on which if in-apply mo doon si shear force mo, wala dapat rotation na mangyayari. And in order for us to get there, you need to imagine ulit kung ano yung shear flow running across yung cross-section mo. And since vertical ito, horizontal yung ating neutral axis. This is a symmetrical cross-section, so wala tayong issue. So may axis of symmetry siya dito. So dito, nagma-maximum yung shear flow natin. Or yung ating, first moment of area. So dito nagma-maximum siya. And if you were to imagine yung nangyayari sa shear flow natin, kung iti-trace back mo, so dito pinaka-maximum, kung saan yung pinakamalayo for both, so dapat nag-zero yung ano natin dito, shear stress natin dyan. So zero yung shear stress dito, zero din yung shear stress dito. So dito tayo dapat magsimula ng evaluation natin ng Q. So gagawa tayo ng capital letter Q na function dito, tapos capital Q na function dito, capital Q na function dito, capital Q na function dito. So per segment natin siya gagawin. So pwede nating simulan from segment B. If provided yung thickness, tapos yung S is some distance, ang kailangan lang natin ng isa pang parameter is yung location ng centroid nung selected area mo with a given value of S, and that is equal to D sine of 45. So given tong D sine 45. So meron kang S times D as yung area, tapos yung D times sine 45 yung ating location ng centroid. So we'll be able to get our shear flow as a function of S for this first segment right here, yung segment B natin. Tapos yung sa segment naman natin along dun sa incline na D, you have to take note of the initial value na pinapasa dito sa segment B. So kailangan mong i-evaluate ano yung value ng QB if S is equals to B. So kapag ginawa mo yon, substitute mo lang yung B dun sa S, we'll have this value right here. We then evaluate the rest of the term. So yung rest of the term, if meron kang selected na length S, tapos meron kang thickness T, so ST yung area. Yung centroid, ngayon, nagbabago. Yung centroid is kalahati ng S, pero it's inclined along the 45-degree line. And binabawas siya dun sa D. So meron kang D minus S over 2. So meron kang resultant nito, yung distance na to. Tapos kukunin mo yung Y component niya. So kailangan mo mag-multiply ng sine 45. And that right here is this term right here. So meron kang QD with respect to S, and we'll be able to get this part right here. But we take note of the notion ng symmetry. Na if symmetrical to, si F1 must be equal but opposite to F4. Si F2 equal in terms of magnitude kay F3. So yun. So kahit na kunin ko lang pala tong dalawang to, mare-represent ko na rin itong dalawang ito. And with that, I can proceed with evaluating ng resultant forces. I integrate with respect to sa length. So 0 to B, ito yung bounds natin. Tapos ito yung QB natin. So i-plug in lang natin, integrate lang natin. We have S squared over 2. Kapag in-integrate mo yung S with respect to DS, S squared over 2 evaluated from B to 0, we'll be able to get F1 equals to this term right here. We apply the same for V2. So substitute lang natin yung ating sa QD with respect to S, and integrate lang natin. So pag in-integrate mo, ito, so meron kang BDS, mas meron kang S squared D over 2, so meron kang minus S cubed over 6. So ito siya. Evaluate mo lang from 0 to D. So wala yung sa 0, so 0, 0, 0 naman lahat to. So yung D, so meron kang BD squared plus B squared D over 2, tapos meron kang D cube over 6. Combine mo lang ito at saka yung kalalabasan nito, so meron kang BD squared dito, tapos D cube over 3. And simplifying further, meron ka nito. And pwede mong gamitin yung summation of forces along Y, kasi isipin mo lang paano nag-i-interact ngayon si shear force na vertical downwards with these forces right here. So pag nag-sum ka ng forces, wala namang contribution sa vertical. So ito lang yung may contribution along sa vertical. Kunin mo yung vertical yung purely vertical na component ito, pati yung purely vertical na component ito. And as a result, meron kang, kung F2 ay equal kay F3, so 2F2, dalawa siya, tapos kunin mo yung Y component, sine 45 degrees. So i-plug in lang natin lahat. So we have square root of 2 over 2 from that equation right here. So yung 2 dito, square root of 2 over 2, so mawawala yung over 2, so yung square root of 2 yung matitira. So ito yung square root of 2 na yun. And kapag sinam nga natin na equal to 0, alam na natin na makukuha na natin yung moment of inertia ng ating cross-section. And kapag nakuha na yung moment of inertia ng ating cross-section, we can sum moment at this location right here. So meron kang V times E na nagko-contribute ng bending moment. Si F1 times D sine 45. Si F4 times D sine 45. So technically, ito lang dalawa yung in-equate natin. And si F1 is function ni V over I. Yung VE natin ay nandito. So makaka-cancel out lang yung V na terms dyan. I-substitute lang natin yung nakuha natin na value for I, and we'll be able to get an E that is only dependent on your geometry. So ito yung ating E. Questions? Always po bang non-symmetrical kapag non-homogeneous? Kailangan, kasi mas mahirap kung unsymmetrical bending tapos non-homogeneous cross-section pa. So hindi mo pinaghalo yung dalawa. Same process lang po ba? If circular yung cross-section, yes, magiging oval lang siya. Magiging ellipse lang siya. And kailangan ay nasa axis of symmetry, ay dapat yung axis of symmetry mo is perpendicular sa bending moment para mag-work yung notions ng ating non-homogeneous na cross-section. So kung mapapansin natin, balikan natin yung mga problems from earlier. So halimbawa in particular ito, nandito yung bending moment, ito yung direction ng bending moment, pero ito yung axis of symmetry niya. So perpendicular yung dalawa. Ito rin, nandito yung bending moment mo, yung axis of symmetry mo ay nandito. So perpendicular silang dalawa. So yun yung kailangan na condition para hindi maghalo si non-homogeneous cross-section kay unsymmetrical bending. And we can explore this. Siguro I'll simply upload this, but I would recommend you to practice more about reinforced concrete. So aralin niyo yung reinforced concrete. Magbibigay ako ng sample problem, magpapahabol ako dito. So yung mako-cover lang ng bibigay kong notes so far ay yung product of inertia, loss of transformation, unsymmetrical bending, inelastic bending, non-homogeneous cross-sections, at saka shear center. So wala pa yung sa curved beams at saka sa reinforced concrete. So hanggang dun muna for today. Again, wala tayong pasok sa Thursday, so allot that time to review. I'll try to post more practice problems para makatulong talaga sa inyo when Friday comes. And kita-kits na tayo sa Friday. Yung answer sheet nyo, dalhin nyo na lang sa mismong day ng exam. So kukolektahin ko siya before the exam starts. Ganun na lang muna so far. I'll post itong recording na ito and yung lecture notes na ginamit natin for today's meeting. So thank you all for attending, and kita-kits tayo on Friday.